Alright guys, another installment in our video sessions here. We're going to talk about issues in the West this evening. And if I make a mistake, I'm just going to keep rolling with it and apologize for the mistake. The West opened up a lot of opportunity for the English and for their colonists. It brought the chance of perhaps making more wealth or perhaps expanding the English Empire at the cost of taking land away from the French or perhaps even the Spanish. But with those possibilities came costs. The cost generally came in the form of war against Native Americans, which were costly, not just in lives, but in pounds, and the construction of forts in order to establish new settlements and supervise areas where colonists were moving into. Anytime the English saw the West then, they generally viewed it as a great opportunity, but something that brought with it a substantial financial risk. Anyone who wanted to push into the West was seen as being dangerous, and perhaps even a radical. We see this twice in our study in the first unit. Let's take Nathaniel Bacon first. Now, Bacon's rebellion is really a revolt of landless men who believe that they haven't gotten a fair shake in the Virginia colony. Led by Nathaniel Bacon, who certainly had a lot of land, he was a very wealthy man, these landless men sacked Jamestown, burned it down, and then Bacon died. Had he not died, we might have had a massive social revolt on our hands. But soon after his death, William Berkeley was removed from power, the landless men got their voting rights back, and more Western wars against the Indians were declared. The short story? Basically that the colony tried to appease those Western men by declaring more wars and allowing them the opportunity to expand their tobacco lands into the West. The second event we want to talk about is the Paxton Boys Revolt. Now, the Paxton Boys were Scotch-Irish settlers in the western part of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, you remember, is a different sort of colony. They're supposed to be kind to the natives. They're supposed to be tolerant of all different religions. And they're also supposed to be pacifists. So this act, when the Paxton Boys go in and war against the Native Americans, seems to violate all of those at the same time. They attack Native American tribes, and when the colonial militia of Pennsylvania begins to track them down, instead of running away from the trouble, they run right to it. Straight to Philadelphia to try and take on the colonial elites and knock them from their perch. Ben Franklin steps in to defuse the situation, and things are settled for the moment. The main idea I want to push here, the West is always seen as being a little more unstable than the East, and people who lived in the West felt as though they were unfairly elbowed out of power situations because people living in the East claimed to be the elite, landed individuals who had all of the right ideas. Over time, we're going to see the frontier in America continue to be a place you want to go if you want opportunity and you're willing to risk your life and your happiness in order to have it. Good night.